Hello, listeners. Hi, my name is Madhavi, and I'm so happy to have you on UppTalk. You have come to the right place if you want to learn about IT and do really cool things with your hands. We are not just another IT company when I say UppTalk. Think of us as your learning partner dedicated to helping you reach your full potential. We have top notch hands on courses to help you build your business, whether you are new to technology or want to move up in your current job. Let's look around this as our first step towards learning.
Here, maybe I selected a worker named as Betty, and you can see C selected worker. Select another worker. This one already has a talent review in progress. Can you see that? I will select another worker because just right now I did here. That is the reason I will select some other worker. I took him for this one as someone has run it. Let me select some random one. I am starting a talent review for this worker right now. You can see this has been started. And this will work as per the business process that has been defined. Because, as I mentioned earlier, there is a business process for the talent review. Whatever step is defined over there, based on that, it will go step by step. Right now, I have started a talent review for this worker. Right now, again, what I am going to do is, I am going to start. For this one still, it is in the process. Can you see this? I hope you might have seen like it was in process and update my profile was reflecting. Let me show if I can proxy. His Workday account is not created. Mainly what I am trying to tell you is if we have started a talent review for any worker, we cannot start another review until or unless the first one is completed. If you see, if I try to start another one for this employee, it is giving error stating select another worker. This one already has a talent review in progress. If in case the one that is in progress that is completed, then we are good to start another review for that worker. Did you get this? This is what Millie was referring yesterday, correct? Now we will discuss about the unboxed report. When we were launching the calibration yesterday, we have to select a calibration program, and in the calibration program will run based on the unboxed report that we have. Now we are going to create a custom report. Now for the unboxed. What is custom report? There are a few reports which is already available in Workday. Apart from that, whatever way you create is custom report. Correct. We have many worker delivered reports, but that is not sufficient. Based on our need, we create various reports that we want. For that, we create a custom report. You can give any name here. Regarding the report, we can give it any name, whatever we want. Talking about the report type, there are various report type and custom report that we have. If you see here, advanced, composite, and such, simple, toast, and trending. Here we are talking about the unboxed report that we will be making as we have already worked on reporting. What is the main thing here? What is the main thing here? It's the report type that you want to choose. I mean, this time I can report type. We can select anything but the main thing that we have is the data source that we want to create. Asking about over this screen. You were asking about the report type. The report type. You have already mentioned that you have already worked in advance and mid. If you talk about composite, it's a combination of multiple. I have not ever used it. Simple report. Mainly we use for various simple things. But that also gets complicated with time. Mainly what I wanted to say, there are various reports that we have, but whenever we are dealing with this calibration, we will be making an inbox report. And here you can see when we select an inbox, this option that we had, that has been gone. Here we have optimized for performance. But what is the use of this one optimized for performance? See, I have clicked on that checkpoint and we see showing only index data source. You can select optimized for performance to show all data source. What mainly this does is if you are selecting this, it will show you all the data source that is there. You can see if you unselect this, then it will show us all the data source. Data source is nothing but where we will be pulling out the data. For an example, there are different types of data source that we have. For an example, this is someone randomly who has created. You can see hiring events. There are a number of things that you can see from here. Based on the data that we want to pull out, for an example, if I'm making a report where I want the data related to all the employees, all workers, all workers. See, here you have an option of all indexed worker, whereas if you only type workers for HCMN reporting, there are different. These all are the data source that we have. I hope you got what is the data source. That is mainly a brief. I will show you like for an example. Now I'm going to create an inbox report. I will just give a name, random name Raj Talent Calibration. And then the report type, as these we are going to make for inbox reporting. I will just select the inbox option and then the data source. There are many data sources that we have. For this worker calibration, mainly what we are going to clear is, I will select a data source, led to worker calibration. See, if you select the worker calibration, these three are the options that you have. The first one is indexed completed worker calibration, even indexed in progress worker calibration, even indexed in progress worker calibration placement. What is our target here? For an example, like as I mentioned, like we have to recode for different purpose. For an example, if I want to create a report and works report where I want to get the details about the worker who has completed the calibration event, accessing the worker's completed calibration as its primary object returns the calibrated value specific to a worker for a completed calibration event. But here we are not willing to create a report for the calibration event. We are trying to. And maybe here we are trying to check like what is we are doing. Trying to do the calibration event here. Correct. In that scenario, we will mainly select this indexed in progress worker calibration event. Like if you are willing to run any calibration event, this is the one that you will be selecting. Here you can see the primary business object is worker calibration event. Access a workers in progress calibration event as its primary object. This is the one that we will select for all the calibration event that we want to run. As you move forward, this is the basic. What is the use of other two? I mean, if you can answer this in a single line, what exactly the use of other two options? For an example, if you want to run the calibration for whom you are using the calibration event, you will use the calibration event. You will use that data source. Indexed in workers in progress, worker calibration placement. If we are talking about the calibration placement, if in this calibration and everything is done, and that's not going to consider this. If we want to check if the workers calibration event is completed, and at that point of time if I want to get a report, then I will select the first one. But right now we see there will be calibration event that will be going on. Mainly here where we are using this end box report that we are creating right now. It's in the launch calibration. Right, the launch calibration. There is a calibration program that we will be creating where we want to. There will be different calibration program like as you. Let's give you a recap once again. Whenever we create any end box report, what is the use? The use of this end box report is to link this report to a calibration program. And when we are launching the calibration, mainly would they enable us to update the data in that program until or unless the calibration event is completed. That is the reason why we are selecting the in progress option, not the completed one, not the placement one. You will get this. Let me show you. First of all, mainly we have to understand like why we are creating this end box report. If we know the purpose, then we would be able to understand like why we are selecting that option. For an example, like yesterday we are seeing, we were selecting something from here. We are selecting some calibration program. Whenever we are launching any calibration program, what it was doing, it was asking us to select a calibration program. For an example, I selected any random calibration program here. Then, based on that calibration program, this calibration will be launched or run. Launch calibration is nothing but running the calibration, but this calibration program is interlinked. But this unbox report, and for that purpose we are creating this unbox report. And why we are selecting this? The reason being the report that we are creating. We want this report to be linked with the calibration program and launch the calibration. Because whenever we create any inbox report, it enables us to update the data that we have in that calibration program until or unless the calibration event is completed. For this purpose, we are creating this. That is the reason why we are selecting this indexed in progress worker calibration. Maybe this is related to talent that we are doing. Let's see if we have any talent. It's different. If you see this, the main purpose where we are creating the support. We have to define, we can define multiple, but right now I'm just defining this as a talent. Now the main thing will come into picture. If you see this, what do you think? talking about this field, the matrix in which we want. What in this matrix is merely reflecting us? As of now, I think we have to define the group to think, based on which that will calculate your data for the role. Mainly in this matrix tab, we have to select the calibration values and the layout of the report that we want. That is what mainly we do. As you can see here, matrix. In whichever form we want the layout of this report, we will select that. And apart from that, we will select the calibration value. Mainly here we are referring to calibration. If you normally write the calibration. There are many calibration that we can run. And this all are moved to the level. Can you see this? What are the values? And let's go for example. Let me see if there is an equal performance calibration. For an example, here you can see whichever option. There are many options that you can see. You can go to the detail section and you can see why this is used. Like if you see for the calibration program, it gives us the data related to workers' calibration plan. If we want to know about the rating for using calibration only and all these fields that you can see which is related to, which is written in a format of calibration semicolon that will only be used in the calibration. It will not be used in anything else. For an example, right now I am talking about if I want to select for maybe overall performance rating that I want to go for, then I can select this option. If I want to the calibration based on the talent-based performance rating, then I can use this. Let us select this option for now. Talking about this label, override. We can see it. This is what it has been written, but in the output I want it to be written in the format of performance. I can just write in whichever way I want this to be executed. Now scrolling down. Right now we have this thing about the matrix. Like that, we will discuss about all this. Maximum number of rows. This is pretty simple that we use. Like for example, if we want only 250 rows, we can select that. You can go on. It to be at the higher side. Thank you. Thank you. We can select as many as we want. For example, I just put it hide total group. If the total group that is popping up, if you want to hide that, we can even do that. Now come into this column grouping. As you saw, the first one that we had was row grouping. And this is nothing but column grouping. Are we able to interlink something? Why we have here column and why we have here row grouping? Metrics report gives you an option to calculate your data in terms of the metrics, of course, like axis. I hope you might have got like yesterday. I was giving an example of axis x, axis y, axis. That's how, because see, we are given two different grouping. One is related to row grouping, which will be planning based on the talent-based performance reporting. And another one, we are giving a column reporting. This was again a calibration field. Then we said, in the same way, this is another calibration field that we are setting it up. Here I will select some other calibration that I want, not the one that I have selected here. Let me select. Let us select potential. A little override. I will write here potential. What we are going to do based on the performance and potential, I will be creating an inbox report which will be Internet Work Calibration Program. And we will run the calibration. Here we can define the columns as well. And this inbox display. If we talk about this inbox display section, it specifies whether the output of this report that we will be getting, whether we want to display any image or maybe image and text that you can see. If we want to have only image, I can select image only. If I want to select image and text, I can select this option. This is related to the report output that we will be getting. For an example, in generic way that we use here, if I want to get the worker's image as well to be displayed, then what I can do? I will just randomly select photo. And let us see if you click on this worker's photo, because we are running this calibration for some workers. If at that point of time I want the image as well, I can select that. If I want to have image as well as some text, we have that option as right now. We are just taking this image option. If in case a worker doesn't have any image, then there will be a blank. If in case, in what way we have to set up the photo that we have, if in case it is not there. It gives you a blank. And there is one more scenario. Like for an example, if there are many workers. In that scenario, a crowd icon is there. That will pop up. And for your information, each box is a box. In case that we will be getting in the output, it displays up to 2000 images. But if it has more than that in any such scenario, we can do it. This was that we discussed about the matrix tab that we had. Now we'll discuss about the drill down. Like, what is drill down here? Because I'm not sure. You might have seen this maybe in the advanced reporting on. What maybe will define it. Mainly in this drill down tab, we have to configure the fields that we want to display in the calibration list. For an example, like what are the fields that you want to be displayed over there? That is what we are going to highlight. If you want to display the default fields, you can select that, but I want to specify the fields here. And I will mention whatever field I want based on the requirement. Like first one would be calibration. Let me select calibration and let me select random field. The first one that we have selected is calibration potential. I will select that. After that, the another criteria that we had, and I'm pushing, what was the name? Challenge. Apart from that, we can select different fields that we want. Mainly what this field is going to do is, this is going to display the additional fields or additional details about the worker. For an example, I want to have the location as well. I know. I mean, it's kind of drill down of the value that you will be displaying on the dashboard. Correct? Let us select. For an example, if I want to have the organization, I can select that. Let me select randomly now. Draw profile. Can we have? Draw profile. Let me see what our game. All right. Let us say free to go. I want to see what we have in about worker event, about worker for facet research initiating worker. Let us see 3. Let's not add anything extra. Yes, but we can add whatever we want. If it is something that is not popping up and still I want to get it to be displayed, and then we can do that. This is what maybe we can add. If we, and here at the label overwrite, this was I can write by which name I want to get it displayed. or just let us keep in that way. Mm. In the details section, if you want to add any specific data, in terms of that you want to get reflected. Let me see. Delay display as thumbnail do not show if empty. We can create. If in case we want any other details, that process, that report that is running, we can select this. If I want to check do not show if empty, let us select display as thumbnail. We have multiple options. Like that, we can add as we want based on the requirement. We can add a worker as well. Let us ask you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We do not have a rating. Just take this as a plan. Again, in the sort we can mention whether we want in the form of ascending, descending, drill the options that we have selected, whether we want to disable all drilling for the report, drill to details for the report, whatever you want to select. For example, like you can see here, drilling the data is nothing but getting more data. Now talking about filter, the one that we are running right now, this report, we can see here who all we want to be here. Mainly, we can randomly select. Mainly, we are doing this for worker. Let us select some worker type. Let us see here. 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 I will see what we are doing here. At that point of time, we'll be getting each and every data that you want. Thank you. Thank you. I think that we want to add. Prompt means I hope you are aware. Prompt is nothing, but whenever we are going to run any report, if there is specific prompts that we want to specify over there, at that point of time we can add, for an example, like you can define the duration, the from and to date. Any Let me see the calibration mode form box. Let us select that. We can mention whether we require that or not, or we do not require. This all option we can select, like whenever we are setting up any prompt. Output is nothing but for an example. If you want to have any text or any go plate option, in that scenario we set, but mainly this is of no use. Share like as we have in each and every report. Let's share this with all the authorized users that we have. In advance, mainly we configure the facets for the calibration activity. If there is any that we want to configure, mainly this facet, let's show you. The special option that we can see. This mainly filters or enables the participants mainly to navigate the target population and filter the workers based on the criteria that we want to set up. Like for an example, may be related to talent pool or management chain or supervisory organization. On that basis, if there is anything that we want to set up, we can go here. For an example, I want to do. Let me see like what are options that we have. We can select anything randomly. I'm not sure why we are not getting all this option. Who has made some changes here? Let me see if I can get something related to the channel. Let me see if I can get something related to the channel. If we want to go in this way, I think we can go. Mainly the FACI that we are setting up. We have to just remember one thing, and that mainly this filter that we are setting. It enables like whichever worker is participating in this to filter based on the criteria that we want to have. Mainly this or out of the option that we will not be maybe selecting. We will be selecting like management change or management group or talent pool. Like all those options. And this is all related to this report that we can set up. In advance, we have this optimized for performance. And this is all pretty much common that we have in each and every report in advanced format. And we can save this. This is all mainly how we create the NBOX report. Mainly the few things that I want to summarize here. The data source that I mentioned. We have to keep that in mind. Apart from that, the group grouping and the column grouping. This is nothing but the criteria in which we want to run this. And the layout of the report that we want. That is what mainly we are going to set up in this matrix tab. And drill down. As you have already seen, we mainly drill down the fields to display in the calibration list view. Like whenever the fields, whatever the fields you want to display in the calibration list view, we just mainly highlight it over here. Like you saw, we have highlighted over here. That is what mainly we select. And in the drill down detail type, we define the columns in the list view. Mainly, what does this field does us? This displays any additional information about the workers. Like here, we have defined the fields. Apart from that, if there is any additional information about workers that we want, we have to define the fields. We can add it over here. And talking about filters, prompts, like we can set it up, like if there is any need of prompt that we want to set up. The main thing here is the data source and the matrix column that we have, and rest of them is pretty much same. Let me see in Grum. I'm not sure whether this is run or not. See, we do not have a proper setup here. That is the reason why this is not running. What we will do is, I'm just giving you a reference like how to create this unbox report. In tomorrow's session, we will discuss about calibration program, like how to set it up. And after that, normally what I will do is based on the channel setup that we have, I will launch the calibration program and we will try to see like how that works. Thank you. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us sales@therightuptalk.com.